contender, Dr. Monique Ryan. Let's go to Melbourne now, and joining us live is the Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg. Treasurer, good morning to you. Are you about to lose the seat of Kooyong?
Well, voters obviously will make their decision on the 21st of May, but I have been encouraged by the positive and warm reaction I've received at pre-poll over the early days of this week. There's still a long way to go and the battle in Kooyong will be tight. But let's be very clear about what the choice is for the local voters in Kooyong. I have worked hard for my local community for the last 12 years. I'm from Kooyong and I'm for Kooyong, working with the charities, working with the small businesses, working with the schools and many families. And at the same time, I've been the Treasurer of Australia during the most significant economic shock since the Great Depression, and Australia's coming out of that economic shock faster and stronger than every other major advanced economy in the world. On the other side of the ledger is a so-called independent who's a former long-standing member of the Labor Party who sought to conceal that political background when asked about it by the media, who's asking for the community's vote yet is not prepared to tell the community how they will vote in the event of a hung parliament, has no detailed policies, it's got an emissions reduction target but no plan to get there, no costings, no tax policy, no defence policy, and we know the chaos and the confusion and the uncertainty that will come with a hung parliament. So that's the clear choice for voters in Kooyong, and obviously I'll be making that case not just on your program this morning, Pete, but every day between now and election day.
No doubt you will. Back to the polls though, Treasurer. Labor is on track for 80 seats. That would be fairly comprehensive if that turned out to be true. Big if there, but would that be a rejection of your government's performance or of the Prime Minister's?
Well, Pete, you should know better than to take these polls as gospel in the lead up to the election. We know that from last time round when people wrote us off, yet the Australian people produced a very different result. There are many, as the Prime Minister calls them, quiet Australians out there. John Howard called them his battlers. Sir Robert Menzies called them his forgotten people. In the United Kingdom, they're called the shy Tory. Essentially, these are people who may not answer every poll, phone call, who are not on Twitter as keyboard warriors, who are not marching outside the streets on the policy of the day. What they are doing is going about their daily lives, getting a good education for their kids, expecting the health system to be there when they need it, saving for their retirement, buying their own home, meeting their mortgage payments, and in many cases running a small business. And they know that Scott Morrison and the Coalition have been the better economic managers. Okay. They know that we've got the plan for the future and we've got the record to show for what we can do.
How disappointed were you to hear Malcolm Turnbull push for independence, which includes a vote against you in your own seat?
I was very disappointed by that because Monique Ryan had called Malcolm Turnbull a national disgrace, and you know I doubt that Malcolm would be wanting to back someone in who called him a national disgrace.
Yeah. If you lose the election but you win your seat, do you become the Liberal Party leader?
Again, I'm not getting into that game of speculation. What I'm focused on is winning my seat, but more importantly than that, the Coalition retaining government. We have a very strong case for re-election. We've put it to the Australian people. And last night in the debate between the Prime Minister and Anthony Albanese, again Australians saw that very clear choice on display. Anthony Albanese's been all at sea when it comes to the critical issue of the economy. He hasn't known the unemployment rate. He hasn't known the cash rate. He's making up his economic policy press conference to press conference.
Well, just on one of those points, I've just got to squeeze this one here, Treasurer. Sorry. Anthony Albanese, he wants a 5.1% increase to the minimum wage. He says $1 extra an hour wouldn't damage the economy. Why would it?
Well, firstly, his comments have been criticised by independent economists from across the country, and they've pointed to the fact that Anthony Albanese's commitment here would drive up interest rates, drive up inflation and cost jobs. What we do have is an independent Fair Work Commission and a proper process that's been adhered to in the past where they make the judgment based on the economic context of the time and the evidence before them. Anthony Albanese just made policy up on the run, and he's now been forced to backpedal on it. And as the front page of The Australian makes very clear, yes, no, maybe, And even Jim Chalmers said they haven't come up with a mechanism to put Anthony Albanese's flippant comment into practice. So, again, another telling reminder, just a week out from the election, that Anthony Albanese is simply not up to being Prime Minister, simply not up to managing Australia's $2.1 trillion economy.
OK, well, on wage rises, where would you like that number to settle? Again,
that's a decision for the Fair Work Commission, but I do point out to you, we have the highest minimum wage in the world at just over $40,000. And that minimum wage is seeing, support for people who need it. But we have an independent Fair Work Commission process. And that used to be the position of the Labor Party until Anthony Albanese made policy up on the run. Now they're shoveling very, very quickly to fill that hole he's created.
OK. Just a final one here. Victoria wants to ban the public display of swastikas, Treasurer. Just a final thought on that.
Well, again, the swastika is a symbol of hate and the most destructive period in world history. Just an absolute tragedy with so many innocent people losing their lives during the Holocaust. And anyone who seeks to extrapolate, to take that Nazi insignia and to remind people of that terrible past in a way that is designed to promote hatred has no place in our community. So I support the decision. I note that it's got bipartisan support. Of course, the swastika can still be used in an educational context or also in the case of the Buddhist symbol. But when it comes to Nazi insignia, they have no place in our society.
OK. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg, thanks as always for your time.
Thank you.